Hello everyone, hope you guys are doing well today. So today we are going to go for our labor costing. Okay, what is labor costing? Basically, labor costing is a costing of how are we going to basically pay the labor. So how are we going to basically pay the labor is the main area of a discussion here. Now, labor costing or labor analysis is basically done towards the product that is being made. Now, how are you going to allocate the labor cost? How are we going to analyze it? And how are you going to improve it? That is the main concept that you have to go upon. Okay, so labor cost needs to be accurately recorded and allocated to ensure correct payroll calculations and cost control are done. Okay, so correct payroll calculation and cost control can be done. If I am recording my payments to the particular employees correctly and I am having a record of it, would I not be able to understand, develop knowledge, and basically interact with them and try to reduce the cost of the complete labor that we have? Yes, we would. Now, the key records include personal records of the employee, such as their hiring, their date of joining, their personal records, their place of residence, and etc. etc. Then attendance records, the days they were present on the organization's work schedule, that they were marked present or absent, so that we can calculate the number of days they have been working in the organization or the days in the month they were present and pay them accordingly. Holiday and sick leaves, so that we know that they are taking our allowed sick leaves only. They're not taking any leaves that are not authorized, or they are not taking leaves and they are having payments made for those days. And various time tracking documentations, so that we can cost them, we can align and discuss what is the amount that we should pay to these people. Okay, now moving on to employee personal records. Let's see what are the things that we should have. In employee personal record, the purpose is to maintain some details regarding the employee that is there in in our organization, so that we can trace him down, track him down if there is any uncertain situations. Some of the details might be required so that we can ease up the flow of transactions to the employee or from the employee, such as payments or any kind of records, any medical history the employee has. Why? Because if he has a medical history, we should be able to have some care regarding that. If we are having a hiring of a person and he has cancer, so we are well aware that a person can have a multiple holidays, so we have to account for that as well. The personal records just keeps a database of the employee that is in the organization, containing each and every detail regarding the person's personal life and the professional structure. So personal information, employee details, pay details, and termination details that are there. If we are terminating the employee, we are not going to throw their file out of the window. We're going to keep it for ourselves for the future in case the employee comes up to us and files a case against us, or the employee comes up, asks for recommendation, we can provide documentation to the relevant parties. Okay. Now, example: HR maintains file for John Doe, an employee in the production department, showing his salary rate, bank account reports, and work history. Then we have our employee attendance record. So we have discussed what an attendance record is. It's pretty obvious. To track the presence of the employee and leaves of the employee in the organization. Now, source of data will be clock cards, timesheets, and job sheets. A factory worker clocks in at 9 a.m. and clocks out at 5:30 p.m. This data is recorded electronically. So when you enter the premises, now if you would have gone into a place where they are using digital modes of attendance, you might see that they first ask you for a magnetic card that they have prepared you. The card swiped in marks you present or enters you into the organization, and the card that gives you access out is the same card, but you have to swipe it out before you leave the premises. So this marks your attendance for the day, the timings that you have worked. If you are paid per hour, then these hours are calculated in aggregate all along the week. Now, what people mostly do is that they come in at 9 a.m., they leave at 4 p.m. The time is 5 p.m. Okay. Now they are basically using 1 hour of the daily time that they should have worked into some other activities. Okay. Now 1 hour per day, and what they do is at the weekend or any other time when they get some spare time, when they want some kill time, what do they do is basically they come up and they work for 5 extra hours. Okay. Now, why am I highlighting this? I'm highlighting this because these extra hours are known as your overtime. What is overtime? Overtime is a time that you are serving in excess to your normal times. Okay. Now, if the employees are taking 1 hour early offs on 5 days a week, that means basically this time should be the red time that I'm highlighting. This time should be the compensation of the time that they have taken per week, but they record it as the overtime, and they get a payment for that exclusively separately as well. So there are main problems that we face, that employees are leaving earlier on in their time, they are not completing their work, and they're charging overtime from the company in order to complete the work that should have been completed in their normal durations. So this is why we have to keep a record of the what is the time in and out of the employees, so that if they are leaving 1 hour early 5 days a week, they are compensating for the time, and they're not getting any extra payments from the organization, hence reducing the payroll cost and the chances of getting fraudulent transactions as well. Now, holiday records. Purpose is to ensure employees do not exceed their allocated leaves. Okay, so we have discussed it as well. Salaried employees usually receive paid leaves, hourly or PSAID, and work may be unpaid. HR must monitor these leaves balances so that they know that how many leaves are to be granted to a person and how many leaves are to be paid to him for. Okay. Now, moving on towards sickness record. Sickness record means that basically what is the medical case that they have, any proof of the medical situations, etc., etc. So companies should have a sick day for payroll and leave compliance as well. Now they should track it. Why? Because if a person is coming up to be having multiple sick days in a month or a week, this might be suspicious. Or the government has some statute in which you have to submit the record of employees being given a sick day leave or sick pay. That means basically you should have the record of it. If a person has a cancer and he is being treated by the company, or he is being treated at a hospital, some of the expenses are to be paid by the company as well, because he's working there. And if the company is the cause of the cancer, then the company has to bear all the expenses. So the sickness record is to be maintained here. Now, why is sickness record maintained? The examination done before the hiring, examination done during the organization's employer hiring time. Let's say I am joining a company at 1st January. Before 1st January, I should have a complete medical checkup and submit a report to the organization. Why? So that if I have some severe medical problem, medical issue, it should be highlighted before the employment. Now, why is it important? It is important because if I am hired once in an organization, and after getting hired, I get a particular medical condition developed due to the work I'm doing, the company is responsible for it. Now, what happens is, if the company's employees are not tested, the HR is not vigilant enough in these situations. The employee might have a illness before he have joined the job, but now his illness has severed, so he is blaming it on the company. So this will create a statutory liability upon the company's employees or the company's managers, that they have to fulfill the payments of the sickness treatment of the employee. Okay. Now, companies may have sick pay policies. Some company statutory required sick pay, statutory sick pay. Record help prevent abuse of sick leaves. So these are for the use of employees and for the company as well, for the reasons I have told you. For the employees, they should get up sick pay. So they are entitled to it by the government. So they should get it. And if they're not getting it, they can prove it in the court that they are not getting. Now, other periods of absence means some of the holidays that are not allowed, or not because of sicknesses. So in the exam of absences, jury duty, training courses, and authorized absences can be there. Now, in the situation of training and jury duty, this is a statutory requirement or the requirement of the company. So should the employee be paid? Yes, because these are legal requirements or the company's some own doings that we have fulfilled. So they should be paid for this. And unauthorized absences basically indicate some of the areas where the employee is absent, but due to reasons that we are not able to determine yet. So he should not be paid for those days. So these are the things that we should know. Example, Emma attends 3-day external training course. HR records this as a training leave rather than absences. For a training leave, obviously we have to pay the employee, but for other kind of absences, we are not going to pay them. Now, clock cards. Clock cards are basically cards or records that are maintained so that we can record what time is the employee being working and what time did he get in or get out. Basically, an attendance sheet. Okay, which has time on it. Used in shift-based jobs, can be manual or electronic, based through biometric systems or retina scans, etc., in some high volatile organizations. Timesheets, record the time an employee has devoted towards a specific job so that we can charge the client regarding that time that is being consumed. Okay, let's say we have a service of, we have a teaching class. I have a teaching class, I am paid per hour. So I will have a timesheet in which my timing, the starting of the class and the ending of the class will be recorded so that I am being paid accordingly for the hours I have worked. Okay, so a document recording how employees' time is spent. Key points are: break down time into tasks, projects, or cost centers, used to allocate labor cost to specific jobs, and may include idle time as well. Time for which you are not working but paid for. Okay, let's say I am sitting in a class. I have given a question to the students. Now I'm just using my phone in the class and I'm sitting around, I'm enjoying my class. That time is to be worked upon. I am wasting that time just to enjoy my time. The students are working, I'm sitting idle. So this is an area where I am slacking behind. At this time, I could have prepared something else and gone towards something else as well. Now, idle time. Idle time is a time which employee is paid but not yet producing output. So machine breakdowns, lack of material, waiting for instructions, or just any kind of idle time can be identified here. Idle time is a time where I am not working but I am getting paid for. If it is on the part of the management, then I have the right to be get paid. Okay, let's say I was promised to a work, I completed the work. Now I'm sitting there, and the management is telling me that I will not pay you, but you have to sit here, and I am unable to provide the work that I want to provide to you. Let's say the management says you have to produce 100 units per day. Okay, I said okay, I produce 100 units. Now I am sitting there. Okay, I am sitting there, and the management is telling me to sit and wait for the next products to come in. I was sitting there for 2 hours. Okay, should I be compensated for this 2 hours because the management has stopped me? I could have gone somewhere else and worked there and earned something. Yes. So in this position, I am entitled to get a pay from the organization. If the organization doesn't pay me, I can file a case against them. So excess idle time is equals to inefficiency. It could be part of the management's activities or the employee's activity as well. Records separately for cost analysis. Example: a machine operator is idle for 2 hours due to power outage. This is recorded as idle time. Now, job sheets. What is a job sheet? Job sheet is basically a sheet that identifies all the costs that are implemented on a job to be completed on. Okay, so it records the number of units and employees have produced. Key points are used for employees paid on piece rate basis or helps in payroll calculations. So basically, if I am a tailor and is paid $5 per shirt, his job sheet should show 30 shirts made in his day and show he should be paid $150 for the day. So now what are we saying that in a job? In a job, how many times am I working? How many hours am I employing? If I'm providing a service, what is the hourly rate? The things are to be noted down. This job sheet is just telling me specifically that what time or what resources did I take in completing the specific job that I'm charging you for. Okay. Now moving on towards our next area of recording labor costs. Okay. Recording labor costs. Now, when we have discussed what are the areas that we have to focus, now how are we going to record the payments that are made to the employees? First of all, calculating gross pay. Now, we have discussed employees. Employees get, first of all, a gross pay is calculated. Gross pay is the amount that they have earned. After that, we are going to deduct some amount in terms of statutory deductions or any kind of activities that the employee has gotten into, such as your unions, such as your pension pays, such as your provident funds. These are deductions that you have to make. After all the deductions has been made, we get a net pay, and this is the amount that is paid to the employee. Okay, so let's see how are we going to calculate gross pay. First of all, we have a time related pay. So example is in front of you. The services organization normally has a time related pay where the employees are paid according to the time they invest in the business. So employees are payments are based on time they have worked, irrespective of how much they have produced. Okay, this method is common for salaried and hourly paid employees. Now, salaried employees. For salaried employees, hourly payment is calculated on a different basis. Okay, so for salaried employees, there is a fixed amount per year, per month, or per week, regardless of the number of hours they have worked. So let's say I am paid 15,000 per month for 30 days. Okay, so for per day, I can say that I am getting 1500 rupees or 500 rupees. Okay, so I'm getting 500 rupees per day. So if I'm getting 500 rupees per day, irrespective of what work am I doing, am I being productive or not, I am getting 500 rupees per day. This is a fixed salary. This is the benefit of a fixed salary. Okay. Now this provides financial stability and may reward additional for less efforts directed towards the work. Okay. So if employee earns 18,000 per year, he is getting a 37.5 hours work week. He is basically making what? He is basically making 346.15 per week. Now let's just break it down a bit more. If I'm saying that the employee is working at $18,000 per month per year, so I can just bring it down to per month. Yes, 18,000 divided by 12. So per month payment is $1,500. Yes. Now he is working 37.5 hours per week. Okay. So if I am having 4 weeks per month, I can basically just divide it. 1,500 divided by 4, so 375 approximately. Okay, and we can basically say that if he is working 37.5 hours per week, we can easily say that he is getting $10 per hour. But this is irrelevant here. These calculations are irrelevant here because he is getting a set payment. And set payment can be identified if we are saying that yes, we are paying 10 per hour, but it doesn't matter if he's working or not. He's getting the fixed salary per year, and it is not going to change. Now, the next thing, that is hourly rate payment, that can fluctuate because this is based on the number of hours that we have worked per week. Okay. So hourly paid workers earn a set wage of amount per week. If they work additional hours, they are going to pay an extra overtime. Overtime is normally 1.5 times basic pay. Normally it is that. It can be higher in some situations as well, or lower some situations depending on the company. So example, if hourly wage is 12, worker works 40 hours, so he is getting $480 per week, and he's taking it home. This is the gross payment, so deductions will be there. Now for overtime, normally it is 1.5 times normal payments that are made. So overtime refers to hours worked beyond the standard working hours. So standard working hour for normal companies is 40 hours. If you are working 50 hours, the difference between those are 10 hours, that is the overtime. And the overtime is to be paid 1.5 times of normal payments. So if I'm getting paid $10 per hour, I will get it 1.5 times, that means 15. So I am basically getting the extra 10 hours I've worked, I will multiply by 15. So I'm getting $150 for this hour. Normally I would have gotten 100. So the 50 extra is the overtime bonus that I'm getting. Okay. Now hourly rate is equals to 10. Overtime is 1.5x time or and a half of the basic payment, and extra hours worked are 5. So 40 into 10 is equals to 400. Now this is the regular payment. For the extra 5 hours, I will multiply 10 by 1.5, that is 15 into 5 is 75. This is the overall extra payment that I am making. So the total payment I am going to make is 475, adding these both up. Now, overtime premiums. Overtime premiums basically say if employers often pay a premium for overtime work. Common overtime rates include time and a half and double sometimes in some scenarios as well. This incentive is good for the employees as they are motivated to work some extra hours if there is a requirement for it. An example says direct wages are 23,000. Overtime premium, direct worker hours is 2,900. Indirect wages are 14,000, and overtime premium for indirect workers are 3,100. If the overtime premium is classified as indirect, that means basically they are for employees that are not directly linked in the production. So for indirect wages, it will be allocated, it will be assigned. Okay, now here we are given 14,000 as indirect wages and bonus for 3,100 together with it. That means basically we are having an indirect consumption of resources. And the overtime that we are paying, are we paying it for normal production? We are paying for normal production, but we are unable to get the work done between the hours that we are allowed to. That is an overhead as well. So 2,900 as well is added here. It equals to 20,000 as we have shown here below as well. Now calculating gross pay and output related pay. Now piecework. What is the piecework? Number of units you produce, you're going to be paid according to that. Now we have studied till yet. This is the third technique. First is paying according to the hour. That is not related to output. That is related to the time that we are consuming. Second one was your particular salary, that is a fixed pay, and third is your gross pay according to the piecework. Now, under this system, employees are paid based on number of units they produce rather than the hours they have worked. This encourages productivity, but may lead to quality concerns. Why? Now, if I am making 10 units per hour, I see that the more units I make per hour, the higher I can get paid. So I will try to go for 30. But this increase in speed will basically impact your quality as well. Okay, so this happens in normal conditions in normal businesses. So I'm just referring to that. A worker earns 3 units per product produce and produces 80 units per week. So 240 units is the gross payment that he's getting. Now, advantages of piecework is it benefits employers and employees by rewarding efficiency. Workers can increase their earnings by working more, so it is more suitable for many people. Now, if I am working on the base of activity I'm conducting, that is a good thing. I will be more efficient. I will try to be more fast. The problem is that I will try to rush things up, and it will result in a poor quality. And the employees might just go about it so that they can earn more money. This would also increase the chances of risk of fraud. Why? If an employee has made 30 units, he would try to report 40 or 50 units so that he can get more units to be paid for. This will increase the risk of fraud as well. And with this piece rate, we should have a minimum wage guarantee. Now, there's a problem. If let's say the government says that 28,000 is the minimum wage right now, okay, 28,000 is the minimum wage right now, and the employee is not yet being paid, okay, the employee is not yet being paid. The employee is working in the organization and he is basically saying that the organization is not providing me enough work. How am I saying that? Now let's see. Employee gets 10 rupees. Sorry about the glitch. Okay, now the employee is getting paid $10 per unit produced. Now, how will he be able to achieve the goods that he is basically breaching the line of minimum wage? Now, if the organization gives him a task to complete 3,000 units, if the organization is providing the employee resources and tasks of completing 3,000 units per month, let's say, so will he be able to earn 30,000? And is this 30,000 exceeding the limit of your particular organization? Yes, it is. Or the minimum wage. So the organization doesn't have to worry about it. But in many organizations, there is a fluctuation due to seasonal variations. Some season changes, some activities are seasonal, so they are not able to produce or give the particular employee the relevant production capacity according to which he can meet the requirements of minimum wage. So here the organization is required by the law to provide the employee with a guaranteed minimum wage payment. Okay. So this is basically an incentive that if you are not able to provide you the work, we're going to pay you with the minimum wage. We are going to help you out in the times of need. Okay. So this is important as well. Why it is important? Because if you are breaching the minimum wage criteria, your government can basically penalize you or go up after you and shut your business down. Okay. Piece rate with guarantee. Some companies offer a guaranteed minimum wage alongside piece work to ensure employee receives a fair income. And even if they fail to produce a high volume of output, they're taking something out that is basically allowed by the government. In example, we are paying 6 per unit, and the daily wage is $50 that is promised. Okay. Now, if you're producing 12 units, if you're producing 12 units and $6 is the payment that we are basically paid per unit, we are getting 72 daily amount. Now, is it higher than your minimum wage? Yes, it is. So are we going to get the minimum wage or the amount that's earned, the amount that is earned? So here we are going to take $72 home. Okay, same as number two. Now in number three, look at it. What is it saying? It is saying that we are in a position where we are earning $48 due to our work that is conducted. Now it can be a scenario where the company is not providing the resources, or it could be the employee's deficiency as well. In any scenario, the guaranteed payment is 50. So he is going to take 50 home. For the rest of the years, the rest of the months, the rest of the days, he is taking his own earned money, but in one day he was not able to produce adequately well. So he is taking the minimum wage at his own risk or on his own activity or his own time upon the discretion of the government as well. Now, differential piecework. Now, what does this say? Differential piecework basically creates steps. Like in fixed cost, we had a step of fixed cost. It has some stairs. Okay. Now, if you are working and you produce 0 to 100 units, you're going to get a fixed payment. Now, as you move above, you go for 101 to 200, you will get a different piece rate. And as you go above from 201 to 300, you're going to get a different piece rate. So they have created some hierarchies according to the performance of the employees. The more performance you provide, the better you get according to the units produced. Okay. So here is an example. A company pays up to 99 units, $1.25. If an employee produces 100 to 119 units, he is getting paid of $1.5 per unit. And if he produces 120 plus units, he is getting 1.75 per unit. So the more production they do, there is an incentive to produce more. They are working hard so that they can get a higher piece rate. Okay. So if an employee is basically producing 102 units, their pay depends on the method. Applied total output, first of all, 1.2, 102 into 1.5 is 153. So 1.5 is the amount that is basically falling in this hierarchy, and we can go. Now, this has multiple scenarios. One scenario is applying it completely on the production. I can say that normally what happens is that you have two ways to calculate the payment. Either I am going for the complete 102 units, or I break the 102 units into two compartments. First is till 99, for which I am going to pay 1.25. And the second is the 3 units for which I have to pay 1.5. The true position should be that this method is used in normal terms as well, in practical terms as well. This is the method that we use. But in some companies, that is just directly saying that if you produce more than 100 units or 102 units, we are going to pay you a flat fee of 1.5. So this is the scenario as well that we have to see. So first scenario says 153 is the amount that we are earning because we have worked and we have earned 102 units and earned a pay scale of 1.5. The second says that we are going to pay for getting paid for the amount of work that we have conducted based on the level of hierarchy that is given. This is a true and fair picture. This is a good picture that we should focus on. So 123.75 for units below 100 and above 100 are 4.5. So 128.75 or 25, this is the correct treatment that we should do. We should not be paying people for the amount of units I produce normally. If I'm normally working for 40 hours, I should not be paid a higher amount for the complete 40 hours if I'm working for 1 or 2 extra hours. That should not be the case. Okay. Now, bonus schemes. In bonus schemes, what do we see? The purpose of bonus is to incentivize the particular employees so that they are more eager to work, they are more eager to come to the organization, and they are basically having a good time at the organization. They are willing to contribute towards the organization while leaving their families aside, while leaving their personal life aside. Okay. Now, there are multiple methods through which we can give a bonus. First bonus is flat rate bonus. In flat rate system, all employees receive the same bonus amount regardless of their salaries or positions. This is often used for employee-wide performance incentive. So if a company has 50,000 employees or 50 employees, and they are saying that we will distribute a percentage of profit amongst all the employees, so this will be a flat rate bonus. In this position, in this situation, we have some benefits. Some benefits are that everyone will be eager to work more, and the bad side will be some people who are not working well will be getting paid a chunk of the bonus or the profits that they don't deserve. Okay, so 20,000 is the bonus that we are going to give for 50 employees, so each employee gets $400. Next, percentage bonus. Percentage bonus says that a percentage bonus is linked to an employee's salary. Higher paid employees receive a larger bonus compared to lower paid staff, and this ensuring fair distribution based on the earnings. Now, if a higher placed employee is getting a higher bonus, why is he getting a higher bonus? Because he is taking up a job that is more risky, that is more important. He is the person who is going to lead us to earn more money. So he should get a higher bonus according to the percentage that is set. So a managing director, the company pays 1.6% of annual salary as a bonus. So managing director has a salary of 48,000. So he's getting $768 as a bonus. And secretary is having 80,000 salary. So he or she, whoever it is getting $288 as the bonus. Now, why is the difference? Difference is between the risk and return that they're generating. The managing director is going to have a higher bonus because he's taking the most risk. He is the person who is making things happen. So he's going to be paid a higher amount in this situation. Secretary is the employee. That is useful, that is important, but is not as important as the managing director. So the percentage of the salary is the best mode of payment according the employees. Now, I believe this was clear to you guys. Now, time rate employees bonus schemes. Now, time rate employees bonus scheme. What is it? Now, this is basically a scenario. This is basically a situation where we are paying the employees based on the time rated situations. Okay. Now, since time-rated employees do not directly benefit from increased output, bonus schemes are introduced to encourage them as well for cost savings. Now, there can be multiple situations. First is that they can be incentivized by saving time. One is that they are being paid for overtime they are working. So, if an employee is being paid based on time, he's not getting a share of profit, obviously. So, he will be incentivized according to the time he has taken or time he has saved. Okay. So, basis of bonus scheme, a standard time is set for tasks. The employee who completes their task less than the allotted time receives a share of cost saving. Okay, let's say I am saying that one job will take 10 hours and 1 hour we are paying $5, so it will be 50. Okay, now if an employee completes the task in 6 hours, let's say you are going to have a cost benefit of how much? 20. We'll say that we will give you 10% of the cost saving that we have had. So 10% of this is going to be 2 rupees. Now we are paying the employee 2 rupees out of 20 rupees that we have saved. So in turn, we are getting a 18 rupee bonus or profit for our organization, a cost saving of 18 rupees. So the employee's incentive is that he's going to be paid extra if it works earlier or faster. And we are having an incentive here that we are getting a lower labor cost. Okay. So the formula is here as follows: time allowed minus time taken divided by 2 into rate paid. Okay. So the numerical example is given below as well. A task expected to take 1 hour, but an employee finishes this in 36 minutes. 12 rupee is the fee or the amount that we are paying them. So this is going to give me an incentive of 144. Now the bonus pay plus the bonus is equals to 12 is the bonus that we're going to pay, plus 144 is the payment of time saving, and 156 is the amount that we're going to pay him in turn. Okay. Now alternative bonus calculations can be like this. Another calculation involves proportion of the time saved, time taken divided by time allowed into time saved into rate paid. So let's apply this formula. The question says that a worker is given 2 hours to complete a task but finishes it 1.5 hours. That means basically he has saved 30 minutes. Okay. So zero point 0.5 hours is the time taken, 1.5 is the time taken, time allowed was 2 hours, a time saved was zero point 0.5 into your rate paid is $10. Now they're saying the bonus is 50% of the time saved. 50% of the time saved. So 50% of the time saves tell me that this particular time saved should be multiplied by zero point 0.5, or the answer should be multiplied by zero point 0.5. Okay. Now this should be the calculation that we should do basically, and we should get the outcome for it. 1.5 divided by 2 into 0.25 into 10. So 1.875 according to me should be the answer of this particular case. And once we are done with it, we are going to have a higher calculation done as well. So look, the time taken is 0.5 hours saved, 0 divided by 2 into 10, 0.25 into 10, so 2.5. I have just made a slight change here. I have taken the separate formula. So time saved is 0.5. So 0.5 divided by 2 into 10 is a different calculation. This is a different step that we have taken. So 2.5 hours is basically the amount of time, that is amount of money that we have saved. So according to the 50% as well. Otherwise, it would have been 0.5 and to 10, so $5. $5 into 0.5. Now here I just break it down. 0.5 into 2 into 10 is equals to that I am getting. Now here, what you have to see is the formula usage here. Now they have used the formula where they are utilizing the time saved. Now they're using this formula here. Time allowed minus time taken divided by 2 into rate paid. Okay. Now they use this formula. Now in this scenario, if you're using that formula, we are identifying we're getting a different scenario. They have taken 0.5 hours less than allowed into the piece rate that is giving $2.5 as a bonus. Now, if you would have used a separate formula, you might get some different kind of answer, that is 1.875. Okay, this is the answer that we would have gotten if we have used the separate formula. Now, each formula has some different variations, so the answers might vary in that situations. They have identified the amount that is paid. So 1.5 into 10, that is normal paid time, that plus 2.5, that is the bonus. So 15 plus 2.5, 17.5, that is the bonus that we are getting. According to the other situation, if we are seeing that the time is being saved, so 15 would have been the same scenario plus 1.875, that is basically 16.875. That is not a very high difference, but a very nominal one. Okay. Now, this type of bonus structure encourages efficiency while ensuring fairness and compensation. The fairness and compensation is the main objective of our calculations here. Okay. For now, today we'll keep it here. In the next class, we'll continue and we'll solve some other areas. We'll explore some other cost related payments regarding the employees. Till then, enjoy learning. Allah.